Well, I had hoped my next video would be something kind of funny or Austin is retarded or something. But here we go. Last Friday morning, a friend, a member of the bar, called me and told me that my sister Melanie had died and sent me a link to the obituary. I've been in this spiritual struggle the last few months, knowing it's really better for my soul. Maybe it'll benefit them to forgive my evil brothers and sisters. Actually, when Bruno told me, my first reaction was joy. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. It was, thanks for the good news. But then later I actually read the obituary and realized that, no, somebody really needs to kind of speak up and tell the true story. And here I am. I'm a minute in. I'll try to keep it relatively short because, this kind of family shit can go on all day. I know a lot of y'all like you tune in and I'm kvetching about something and you're out within, 3 minutes. Where should I begin, really? Being kind of tortured to go through once again reading my sister's obituary, obviously written by her daughter. Especially being that she was like a member of St. Joseph's Catholic. Her husband may have been, but I don't think either of them attended. In my whole lifetime, my sister Melanie was a rabidly atheistic Buddhist, by her own admission, Buddhist, would attack my mother all the time for even talking about religion. And my mother was not pushy about religion at all. I mean, if you didn't want to talk about it, it wasn't a problem with her. My father absolutely never exhibited any opinion other than he liked to play around with the name J. Hoover's Witnesses. My dad just was like a big Andy Kaufman. He goofed around all the time talking in different languages and shit that he picked up. Jak si máš, jak tam to Slovensko jeliš? And stuff. I remember, that's actually kind of an insult towards the end if you understood that. It's funny. It would make people laugh. See, this is what I don't get in my family is how can you come from Wayne and Nora Krueger and not end up like me? I'm a happy-go-lucky kind of person. I really don't engage in these like just attacking other people for no reason or coveting their shit or other, being jealous of other people. No, I just not in my repertoire. My sister really put me through a lot in life. I mean, early in life, I had to endure watching her abuse my nephew. I just beat the shit out the kid, And I tell her, oh, Melanie, I was in here. The kid didn't nothing. My nephew was just beaten senseless by my misandrist, Sister Melanie, simply by his sister going, Mama Eric. And my sister would come and beat him senseless. He remembers it. He was old enough to remember it. He admitted to my mother that, his mother used to beat the crap out of him for real no reason. I'd tell her I was witness. He didn't do anything. She would stare at the wall, pivot on her heel, and walk out of the room. Never apologized to the kid. Never did. And shortly after that, she began slandering me. When I lived with my sister, I paid her rent. Right after I quit playing ball and shit, I paid her rent. I mowed the grass, I did all that shit. I built onto the foundation of the house. In my spare time, I was almost never there more than 6 or 8 hours because I had a job with a construction company. And I smoked pot and went to movies and ate out almost all the time. I didn't eat their food. I didn't. She even got Otto to believe that I forget that I paid rent. Actually, she said it was his demand when charging your own brother rent. That's kind of ridiculous, especially when I don't eat your food and I'm really not there most of the time. I'm just come in and take a nap and wash the dishes. It was sometimes before Otto's crash that I'll handle Otto on the other, probably on my Armadillo channel or something like that. But that's about the time when she completely stopped washing dishes. She was to eat out. She'd take out food for the kids, or maybe once a week she'd cook. She'd destroy actually on a regular basis, dirty up every pot and pan in what a house that was full of pots and pans. I mean, she had at least 8 sets for 8, and crap, like wouldn't never touch it. That's where I actually learned from Otto how to splay out my legs, because I have a lumbar fracture. He had spinal compression from jumping out of the helicopter before it crashed. Come on, man, UPS, fuck you. And it's actually USPS. She worked for the Mail Postal Service. See, I'm having trouble. I really go, man. You fucking noisy as shit. Actually, Otto was glad that I was there, because I relieved him of dishwashing duties, because I think he had started college during he was still may have been flat on his. No, he had started college. He had gotten out of bed at that point. It was after the crash. But she never washed a dish. I heard the obituary. I'm sorry. The obituary makes it sound like she was some kind of, like, when Otto got injured from the crash, it's she became sole provider for the family. I'm pretty sure she didn't. I mean, he had to have some source of income, and I'm sure his mother would have. She's just, and she conspired with my brothers. She was so negligent of my mother. It's really, you have no idea how hard that is to forgive. Example, I think I'm going to keep this short here, because there's too much to talk about Melanie and her gambling. I mean, God, that's exactly what I was pretty much telling her. I came a couple of days before Christmas, only to find that my mother hadn't gotten her weekly disbursement from her trust, nor would she be getting the next one, because those evil fucking Hawtreys had taken a vacation just before Christmas. They were going to, and made a point, went out of their way to make sure my mother didn't get paid that week. So luckily I arrived, and I called my sister and I said, why haven't you been checking? Why haven't you, Mom's sitting over, she got like a half a pound of beans and shit. And I pointed out that this is really, in large part, her fault, because she went along with the conspirators. My brothers Rolf, Charles, Jerry, and William Wayne Krueger Jr., you evil fuckers. You got any idea how hard it is to forgive these people for fucking my mother and trying to rob half the family with some kind of scheme that's, I mean, really, please. My sister Melanie used to just neglect the shit out of my mother. And she was always lived near my mother. She was always the nearest to my mother. I was the one that mowed the yard and fixed the pipes and shit like that, and all that. Showed up at times like this to find that my mother had nothing. On Christmas Eve, she had like a half a pound of beans left. That was it. My mother's always been a frugal person. I am too. It's one of the reasons I got money in the bank, and most of y'all don't. Most of y'all living on credit. Most of y'all watching this right now, probably ass deep in debt. I don't know anybody, any fucking thing. I'm sorry, I'm getting that. So, Melanie, it's really hard to forgive you. It really is. You just complicate matters by bringing all this stuff back up, and that you can't believe that you're the only thing that you ever did that was really like truthful, Melanie, was you pointed out to people that, yeah, I'm a charismatic. If I came into the room, suddenly your attempts to charm a room or something, or be kind of the life of the party, which I understand from your illegitimate son, you used to be quite the life of the party. I'm out here because my brother claims that I called my sister a whore. Have to be assuming he means Melanie, when it's actually her own bastard son that's been running around calling her a whore for years now, once he kind of found out all the details of exactly how his mother got knocked up, and then hid the child from her mother, my mother. This wouldn't have been a problem. She could have come home with that child, could have come home pregnant. My father wouldn't have given a shit. My mother wouldn't have given a shit. Instead, she went to like an Edna Gladney home. But my dad had a pretty strict rule. By 18, you should have enough money saved up, because all the kids in my family worked. I started working when I was 5 years old. Had 2 jobs by the time I was 7, and started working equity for my dad. So the girls were exempt though. And girls didn't have to start working until, like the legal age, 14, shit like that. And I'm sorry, it's sudden burst of, I'm still going to go on here. Melanie, Krueger, Fritz, I'm working on it, but it's really hard to forgive. I mean, you did order your own son to come shoot me when I just called and reminded you that, I'd caught you abusing your son, that your mother was just, 8 blocks away, 10 blocks away, and you hadn't checked on her. You hadn't checked on her before Christmas. Why? Because Christ is in Christmas? And it just upsets your Buddhistic, atheistic ass? I may make another, because I think I may try to hold this at just a little over 11 minutes. But, it's somebody needs to counter the official, published, written by her daughter, who's been mostly a misandrous mess, and kind of, that's happened to a lot of mostly my nieces turned into these SJW types and feminists and shit. Shelly's never had a child. My sister indulged her in her early, very common, kind of psychological delusions that she was having as she began to get close. Anytime young girls start getting close to puberty, they start complaining of this is common, this is standard, this is what you learn in a classroom. Okay, I'm not making. It's normal in the practice of medicine to expect a mother to bring in a 9, 10, 11, even 12-year-old girl complaining of pains down there, and not being to, and they can't find anything. This is where this society and my sister and my niece fucked up. And she started taking all that, aspirin and aspirin-like drugs, Midol, Motrin, gave herself endometriosis from that, and was sterile early in life. And she's a mess like her mother. And I think her own children need to hear the truth from somebody who knew their parents a lot better and a lot longer than they did. I will say for Melanie Krueger Fritz that in growing up, she was part of a fun, functional, well-behaved family. It was the fame and fortune and drugs and shit like that really complicated my family and triggered what is a recessive gene in my family, that Lawson Maddox jackass gene. When you're around my siblings, you can expect them at almost any time to say something completely jackass. Completely jackass. Melanie, you're a jackass in life. I'm not, just because you're dead, that don't mean shit. I'm the one that's stuck with, having to forgive you. What do you got to forgive of me? You're going to forgive me for telling you that I'm witness to you abusing your son, and then you ordering your son to come shoot. Get your gun, Eric. That's exactly what she said. Kind of really disappointed in my nephew too. He actually said, "Man, I don't appreciate what you said, man." Really, Eric? Is that the best that you got by age 20 then? Man, hey man, I don't appreciate you saying what you said. At age 20, I'd be going, "Hey motherfucker, I'm gonna come kill your ass," if it was my mama. I think his whole mother situation is why he went militant, just the same way his father did in his mother's situation, with him being born in a Japanese prison camp and, not knowing his father, biological father, and all this shit. It's complicated crap. But personally, Melanie, I'm back to where I was when I'm not around you. I don't miss you. Don't really miss any of my siblings because of their behavior. So don't miss you now that you're gone forever. I'm working on trying to forgive you, but I need to purge a lot of shit. you did a lot of evil shit to me. You know, it's really, I'm the witness here. Y'all have a good one. 15 minutes out.